The Mixolydian mode. One of many different faces if you ask me. In a songwriting sense, I find it suitable for creating heartbreakingly beautiful music. And to all the rockers, blues players and jazz artists, it will also sound familiar. So let's listen to some Mixolydian chord progressions and let's get creative. To show how versatile the Mixolydian mode actually is, I composed 5 different examples in 5 different styles. In this episode there will be a rock, singer-songwriter, indie, classical music and a piano music example. First we need to dive into some quick but essential music theory. The Mixolydian mode is also referred to as being the dominant mode. And this is because on the first scale degree we have a dominant 7 chord. And this is nice to know, but where do we actually start? To make a Mixolydian scale, you take a major scale of any key that you want to write in and just lower the 7th scale degree with half a step. Now to find out what chords we have in this mode, we create a triad or even 7th chords on each scale degree. And voila, we have our complete harmonic and melodic resource. Classic rock and the Mixolydian mode, they seem to go hand in hand, and especially the 1-7-4 progression is a favorite. This chord progression lends itself for a party of classic rock guitar riffs. This is because you have the brightness from all the major chords, but you have the power, the spice and the flavor of the dominant 7th chord on your first scale degree. The following chord progression, or riff as I should call it, focuses extensively on the note that's unique to the Mixolydian scale, which in this case is the C. Let's check it out. And this next example features 2 very recognizable sounds of the Mixolydian mode. First we have this very beautiful chord progression going from the major tonic to the minor dominant chord. This juxtaposition of major and minor really lends itself for creating some beautiful and melancholic textures. The second feature is the minor 7th that's played on the tonic chord. Especially the descending stepwise movement from the tonic to the minor 7th is a very recognizable Mixolydian sound. You are alone, not in your head, not in your mind. You walk up, you take control of everything, of everything. You walk alone. If you've seen my other videos on the Lydian, Phrygian and Dorian chord progressions, then you know that I always like to add a piano music example. And of course, this episode will not be an exception. When you want to emphasize the Mixolydian mode, you mostly want to play chords that have the tone that's unique to the Mixolydian mode in it. And together with your tonic chord, you want these chords to make up at least half of your chord progression. In this example, I mainly use 7 chords except for the tonic chord, because I find the dominant 7th sound to be a bit too strong for this example. And a Mixolydian chord progression like this creates a harmonic bed for beautiful and soft melodies. This is especially the case when you embellish your chord progression with a nice arpeggio or picking pattern. But what if you want to go for a very subtle Mixolydian sound? Or what if your chords don't outline the Mixolydian mode? In this Singer-Songwriter example, I will only use the tone that's unique for the Mixolydian mode in the melody, which is E flat in this case. And not even on the tonic chord. I'm going to use it as a tension note on the G minor, which is the second scale degree. But don't underestimate the power of this note, because I find that it creates this extra special character that otherwise would be missing. Two feelings lost in the fog. Could I've seen this? Come take my heart now. And finally, one of the most tried and true ways of actually playing with the sound of a mode is by doing it over a pedal tone. And what is a pedal tone? A pedal tone is when you hold the bass note or repeat it while the chords on top change. So the bass note stays the same. With modes, the idea is that you sustain or repeat the tonic note as a bass note, while the other chords on top change. And in Mixolydian, this creates a very colorful and bright sound. Check it out. Here are some quick tips for you to remember. To start writing in a certain mode, it is important that you find the note that is unique to the mode that you want to create music in. So find out which note it is and which chords have this note in them. Mainly use these chords and the tonic chord to strongly confirm the mode. And of course, don't underestimate the power of melody, because by strategically planning how to play the minor 7th note in your melody, you can really communicate different messages, styles and emotions. Or, whenever necessary, it can also strongly confirm the mode that you're in. So spending time writing and playing music in the Mixolydian mode is definitely time well spent. I wish you many Mixolydian adventures, and for now, see you next time.